I made a apple, and so I drew apples, and then I painted them with paint, and I outlined them with oil pastel. How to draw an apple and how to paint and water the brushes. Then you could use your creativity and you could build stuff. I created a Funko Pop self-portrait, and I started with some shapes, and I put all the shapes together, and I made it look just like me. I learned the history of Funko Pops. I like making art because when I have a feeling, I draw the feeling and it feels good and it calms me down, and also art is very soothing to me. We made this line painting, and we just got some cardboard and then we drew some lines and then we painted. I learned about mixing colors, about lines. I like seeing the end result of whatever I made.
I created this beautiful skeletal image of the inspiration from the Day of the Dead, and I made it off these watercolors and paint, and it was really cool, and it just gives a lot of inspiration from, the Day of the Dead. We learned that it was really pretty, and all that came from the mariachis, and it was really pretty with the watercolor that we used, and it was just really beautiful. I love making art. It's just beautiful when you see the final product and just how we make it with all the utensils that we use is just beautiful, and just having fun with my friends too.
I created a me street by using various art tools such as markers, paint, and references. I just looked at some reference photos of some buildings that I thought would be cool, and I just kind of added it onto the paper. I learned that with a photo to look at, you can create something of better detail, because I don't typically draw buildings, but while I was doing this project and looking at photos that really inspired me on the buildings and architecture, I could just really see how the buildings were shaped, and I just decided that, hey, maybe I could do it on a paper if I can see it in a picture. I like making art because I feel like I can express myself in a creative way that I can't really express myself in any other way, because I can really just draw out my mind.
So I made a Keith Haring snowman project, and we make it with a colorful paper. We sketch it and we cut it out. We glue it onto the snowman, and we stack them up to each other so we can show movements. I learned that Keith Haring was a good person, that he wherever he goes, he draws when he sees a blank wall, he decides to draw on it, and he wants to show his work for everyone, and his final message was to show his love for everyone. I like drawing because it's more calm. And I like to do my drawings colorful, and I like to try new things of art. I created a landscape design with watercolor paint. So there was a middle ground, a foreground, and a background where I think the foreground is the largest. You make it the largest on the painting. And then the middle ground is like medium size. And then the background is like, it looks farther away because it's smaller on the painting. I learned how to use watercolor paint. I only learned how to use normal paint in like elementary school. But in 6th grade, I got taught how to use watercolor paint for my paintings. I like art and making art because it just feels really good to like calmly draw without like any disturbance. It just feels nice to draw.
I made the folk art landscape and I made it with watercolors. I learned how to mix watercolors and how to make a landscape. What I like about art is I can express my feelings in my painting and what I'm making. So I made a hand rectangle drawing, and I traced my hand and I divided them up into smaller spaces, and then I put like cool patterns inside those small spaces. In the background I also draw like a variety of stripes, and like some of them have to be like dark and bold and some of them are like thin. And they're like, some of the lines are closer to each other and some of the lines are like more separate to each other. I traced my hand and I learned that I can make drawings like with like some of my body parts, and I can use my fingers to make some things, and I can also use patterns to draw. Well, there's a lot of things about art. There's like sculpting and like modeling and stuff. But like I like sketching and drawing, and I'm working on drawing realistic stuff.
First, what I did was like I drew like the character, and then like I like drew the details like in the back. And then like I drew the face, and then I put like all the like coloring stuff on it. What I learned was that like it had like warm colors, and like I shaded it like perfectly. Like drawing it and also like painting and shading.
So I made a heart-themed Valentine's Day art. So first I used paint, and like I used all like pinky colors for the background, and then I let it dry, and then I used some oil pastels to do like a little bit more detail in the background. And then I used paint, and then I did like a cute like heart checkerboard pattern. Really, I learned about positive and negative space. I really like to make art because I really like how I really just get creative and I just get to do whatever I want.
I made a picture of Starry Night, and I made it with oil pastels. I learned how to blend colors together and how long it takes to make art. I like making art because it's just fun to do, and once the finished product is done, it's really worth making.